Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today our show is the American Red Cross. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today our show is the American Red Cross. And we have with us Chief Executive Officer Diane Ward. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Marsha. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now, Diane, I just said Chief Executive Officer, but I know that the title is a little longer than that. So you're Chief Executive Officer over what?
Over the southeastern Michigan Blood Services region of the American Red Cross.
Okay. Now, today's a little different for us because a lot of people are always under the assumption that Red Cross just means blood, but I want to have you inform our listening and viewing audience that it's way beyond just a blood drive. So can you give us a little history on American Red Cross?
I'd be happy to. You know, the American Red Cross really has a very long history. Our doors actually started in 1881 with our founder, Clara Barton. And it was after she had spent a lot of time over in Europe, and she came back very intrigued and started talking to Congress and others about starting a division of the Red Cross here in America, because it was originally founded overseas and starting with Europe and the Swiss.
Okay.
And so the original mission of the American Red Cross was to provide relief for war victims and soldiers. And from there, it really grew into what you know today, which is all the blood services that started after World War II. And then it grew into health and safety services, where we do CPR training and lots of other health education and preparedness for our community.
Okay, now is this nationally and southeastern Michigan, or this is everywhere?
It's everywhere.
Okay.
There are some parts of the country where we don't actually collect blood because the American Red Cross only provides 50% of the blood in the country, but you will find chapters throughout the United States that is providing a lot of the community services that we'll talk more about.
Okay, that's a nice little history. Okay, because a lot of people are always, you know, they only see Red Cross, they think, during the blood drives, and if there's a fire or something and you hear about Red Cross was on the scene. Can you tell us some of the key services that Red Cross offers?
You know, some of the services that people don't see unless they actually come and partake of them are behind the scenes. For instance, if you want to know how to help save a life through CPR training, you'd call one of our phone centers and we'd direct you to a site where you could get CPR training. You could do training on artificial defibrillation machines, which are turning up in more and more public places.
Okay.
We do babysitting classes.
Wow.
People don't think about something as simple as training our youth and how to really take care of a baby. You know,
Okay.
can you imagine a teenager not knowing how to take care of a child who's choking?
Okay. All right.
You know,
Got a point there.
so there's lots of things that we train on. We train on water safety. There's the life-saving courses that we make sure that all of the pools in the community have trained lifeguards. So there's tons of work that the American Red Cross does behind the scenes.
That's wonderful. Because a lot of times we're, you know, like I said, people are under the assumption that, hey, every year, certain time of year, okay, time to give blood, or you hear the commercials about, you know, blood drive. Okay, and then during the holiday time, around the winter months, mostly the people hear about Red Cross when there's a fire, there's flooding victims, something that's catastrophic. And so we wanted our viewers to know that it's not just catastrophic events that you have to recognize the Red Cross to be involved in. Okay, so in your division or region, what do you actually do?
I am the Chief Executive Officer over the Blood Services region, which is the piece most people see more visibly, along with the disaster relief work we do. And obviously in Blood Services, we have to provide blood products and I have to talk about blood a little bit.
Okay.
You know, we have to provide blood products to the entire 5 counties in southeastern Michigan. That's Oakland, Wayne, Macomb, St. Clair County, and Washtenaw. That's 5 million people that need to be prepared for blood services. 45 hospitals, 900 units of blood a day. And you know, you say it's the piece that most people recognize. It is what the piece most people recognize, but only 4% in our community are donating blood a year. Only 4%. And there's so many misconceptions out there about who can or who can't donate blood.
Right.
And for instance, one of the misconceptions we hear a lot is, I'm too old.
Oh, really? Okay.
Absolutely. People have this misconception that once they reach the age of 65 or 70, they can't donate blood any longer.
Well, do they feel that way because when you're aging, you feel like if you are cold nature, or if you're taking a blood thinner, or you may have diabetes or something like that, they feel that they should not be involved in blood drives? Because I would never assume that you're too old to give blood, but do they have a reason why they feel like they shouldn't give blood? Or?
A lot of them have medical conditions would preclude them from donating,
Okay.
but a lot are eligible, they're healthy, they're just like you and I.
Okay.
And there's absolutely no reason, and their only reason for not turning out sometimes is because of their age. But I have to share with you, one of the interviews we personally did, we're doing a little story on her ourselves, is a little 70-year-old lady who's been donating blood since high school.
Wow.
32 gallons.
Wow, that's a lot of blood.
That is a lot of blood. And it's those kind of donors that we're always looking for. We want them to start in high school and continue lifelong.
That is really nice. Now, do you all contact the high schools, or how do people know to and when to give blood, if they want to store it?
Anybody who wants to give blood, we encourage everyone to call 1-800-GIVE-LIFE.
Okay.
They can find a convenient donor center. We have 10 donor centers in our community within the 5 counties. Hopefully very convenient. I was talking with one of your crew here today, and they donated at our Oak Park facility.
Okay.
There's one in Bloomfield, so call us, we'll tell you where they're all located.
Okay. And that's 1-800 what?
1-800-GIVE-LIFE, GIVE-LIFE.
Okay.
And the other, we have mobile operations. We rely on sponsoring organizations to let us in. We do 4,500 mobile operations a year.
Now that's when you go to a job site or someplace and set up.
Absolutely.
Okay. 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 That's a wonderful thing. So there's really no excuse. I mean, if you're going to give blood, you can either go to a center or make a phone call. The 1-800-GIVE-LIFE.
Give Life.
Give Life. Okay, we'll
We
bring
try
that
to make
number.
it as convenient as possible for everyone. The biggest challenge is time. We really respect everyone's time is so precious these days, but you know, there's nothing more precious than saving a life, and you can save up to 3 lives with one donation. And if you use some of our new technology, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, you can save even more lives.
That's wonderful. Well, I tell you what, Diane, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we're going to come back with some more ways to support someone or save a life with the American Red Cross. We'll be right back. How you doing?
I'm doing.
Kathy died real suddenly from a brain aneurysm. She was 29 years old. There was no warning. Organ donation was a very painful decision to make on my own. I wish we'd talked about it because I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. We didn't have that discussion because we thought we were young. We thought we had a lot of time, but we didn't.
Hi, and welcome back to the show. We have with us American Red Cross and the Chief Executive Officer, Diane Ward. Now, Diane, we left off with some good stuff about American Red Cross, and let me ask you something. What is so important about donating blood? I mean, I shouldn't say it like that, but give me an example of, you know, when a person donates blood, you said they're saving at least 3 lives. Okay.
Well, let me start by saying that, you know, there is absolutely no substitute for blood. Blood is like air and water. You can't replace it, at least not with the current technology, and there are pharmaceutical companies out there every day trying to find some way to augment the traditional volunteer blood donor gift. The reality is, though, we just don't have enough of it. That is the single most largest challenge we have, is donations. And when we're talking about the American Red Cross, you know, donations from blood is obviously one you hear a lot about. But the other piece that we have is we provide so much to the community with services through the fires that you mentioned earlier and other training and things. It's the foundation of money as well. So if you were to ask me what we were talking to our community about on a regular basis, it's turn out to help us in both your volunteer time, your blood, and your money. Sounds strange to ask it that way.
No, that's perfect, because you know, if you can't give one, you can't give the other. So if you can't give money, do be willing to give blood. Okay, now let me ask you, so is there a certain amount of unit blood needed in the Southeast Michigan area?
You know, we need about 900 units a day just to service our local hospitals. And we would like to be able to have a 7-day supply on our shelves at any given time, because we need to be prepared. When I left work on Friday, we had less than a 2-day supply.
Wow. Okay.
Scary thought.
That is. Now, persons with disabilities, if they're often in need of blood transfusions, can a person with a disability give blood, for instance? No.
As long as the person is healthy, able to answer our health history questions themselves, sometimes they might need a little assistance, because if they're sight challenged, we'll do some direct oral questioning. If they're hearing challenged, we can get some sign language interpreters in. But you have to be able to truly understand the questions yourself in order to answer them. And you have to be able to lie flat on our beds.
Okay.
Now, we can talk more about that, and I'd like to a little bit, because one of the things we've been struggling with so many years is finding a way for those who are in wheelchairs to be able to donate.
Okay, because I'm sure that's got to be a concern for persons with disabilities, that they want to be able to give blood. But what happens in the efforts that they need blood? As a person, say, does a wheelchair person need more blood than a person who's just having general surgery? Is there such a big difference in the person needing blood, or blood donation is just a blood donation?
You know, the reality is the disability, the physical disability, isn't really what's causing the need for blood.
Okay.
It's usually a medical condition or an injury. So if the medical condition or injury resulted in the disability, they may have been part of the population that uses the blood, but it's not the actual physical disability that requires the blood.
Okay. And because I'm sure somebody would be concerned, you know, if you have a person, a wheelchair user person might say to themselves, well, I wouldn't mind giving blood, but I probably don't have enough. You know, they probably under the assumption they don't have enough, but you got to have, how many?
Everybody has 12 pints of blood in their body.
But say, regardless.
Regardless. And we do a mini physical. So we're going to check to see if your hemoglobin level, which is the red cells that carry your oxygen in your blood, meet the criteria level, so it will be safe for you to donate. We're going to check your temperature. We're going to check all kinds of things like your blood pressure to make sure it's safe for you. And that's why right now we're not able to accommodate wheelchair donors at this time. It's because it's not safe for them. Okay. And let me explain a little bit more of that. If in the rare event that a donor has a reaction, we call them anxiety reactions, we need to be able to get that blood to the person's head quickly. And if you're in a wheelchair, it's hard for us to be able to get you into that elevated feet location quickly.
Okay.
So what we're working on is trying to find chairs that will allow the person to easily get from their chair into our chair, and that way we will be able to safely get them into that position if they need to. We don't want to take the chance to say, well, it only happens 1% of the time, because we don't want to harm anybody. Okay. That's why we're not currently.
That's what I call compassion. Okay, that's really nice. Okay. So now, well, I'm sure that will ease the mindsets of a person in a wheelchair, that they can give, but they got to be able to lie flat on the surface.
And if they can get from their chair into our chair, that would be great. Okay.
What are some of the key challenges that American Red Cross come across? Is there anything that's so difficult right now?
You know, the constant challenges are financial, shortage of donors, shortage of volunteers. But when you think about technology, keeping the blood supply safe is something that we're always challenged with in terms of implementing the next new test. You know, this past summer we just implemented the West Nile test, which was, Oakland County was the epicenter for it 2 years ago. You know, and here we are now, 1 year later, we implemented a test to do it. So those are the challenges, is keeping current with the technology and keeping ahead of the needs of our community in terms of what do we do next. Preparing our organizations for terrorist attacks is something that our organization had to respond to after 9/11.
Okay, that was serious. It was real serious. How about volunteers? I mean, how do you get your volunteers, and how can one become a volunteer?
Well, we get our volunteers for talking like with you and getting the message out.
All right.
Anyone interested in volunteering can give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to talk with them about how they can fit into our organization.
Now, what number should they call for volunteers?
They can call the 1-800-GIVE-LIFE number. We make it simple for everyone to remember one number, and we'll transfer you to the department you need to go to.
And do you guys have a website as well?
We do. Our website, our local website is www.semredcross.org.
Okay.
We also have our national website, which has a lot more information, which is just www.redcross.org.
Okay. So yours is with the SEM on the front, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, which stands for Southeast Michigan.
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Because we're going to flag that for you so that if anyone's interested in contacting the Red Cross, you can go online and get some information from the Red Cross, as well as call them and let them know what your interests are, because you need volunteers. Okay. Volunteers is important to me. I mean, I believe that everyone should volunteer for something, if it's not just but 1 hour a day or 2 hours, if it's just making phone calls or consoling someone to make them more comfortable, whatever, or passing out information. I think those things are important, so I'm in favor of volunteers 100% in any given circumstances, whether it's for the arts, whether it's medical related, senior services, something, and it makes you feel a little, I don't know, warm inside when you know that you're helping someone else or helping an organization along, and it's just a matter of giving some of your time.
Marcia, I can't agree with you more. I think one of the things missing in our community today is the community mindedness. And whether it's volunteering with the American Red Cross, your local charity of the Heart Association, right. Anywhere you're doing your volunteer work.
And don't just do it just because it's the holidays. Find yourself
365 days a year, right?
Okay. I could agree with you on that. Okay, so because, people always look at it like, well, it's the season for giving. It's the season for giving all year long, So, and we mainly only become concerned around the winter months for holidays, that we know that our poor and disadvantaged individuals out there need some help. But actually, they poor and disadvantaged all year long. They're not just poor and disadvantaged in the wintertime.
Isn't that true?
So I would like the public to know that you can help out an organization anytime, like you said, 365. Okay. Now I'm going to go over some of this information on the table here, because
Great.
I know it looks so nice. The display is really nice. Okay. So, but I had a couple of questions for you. What's new in blood donation? New ways to donate blood. I heard that there's something that you could do now that's different than getting stuck like normal. Okay.
Well, I won't say that it's not any, you're still going to get stuck. Okay. But what it does is will target you to maximize your gift to the American public. I mentioned to you 3 products. When we collect a whole blood from you as a donor, we take that blood back to our manufacturing facility and split it into a red cell, a plasma, and a platelet.
Okay.
Now, depending upon your blood type, we may not want all 3 of those. We have a new technology which we call, it's not really new, apheresis, but we have a new machine which speeds that process up. And we can just take the platelet from you, and maybe we can get 2 platelets from you because you match the criteria and it's safe. Or we'll take a red cell and a platelet from you and leave the plasma in your body. So that new technology saves the community money because we can do it more effectively by doing it at bedside. It doesn't have to go back to the manufacturer.
Okay.
And then in reference to the other technology, you always hear us crying for O blood. And that's because it's a universal donor. Okay. And in the ER, that's the first product they're going to pull off the shelf in order to treat someone who's coming in through the emergency room. We can't keep O. And only 45% of the population has O blood. Okay. So we have a new technology which is called the double red cell. If you have an O blood type, and Bs are also very uncommonly in shortage, we're going to target you for the double red cell program if you meet the criteria, and we're going to collect 2 red cells from you only. Wonderful technology. Help us maximize your gift of life to the community, and that way we can get the products that the patients need better.
That's really nice. Collectively, the way you said that, I'm thinking if a person would only understand that, hey, you're not just giving one way, you're giving a dozen. That's really nice. Okay.
And some of the people meet the criteria that they can get 4 or 5 products from one donation time.
We definitely gotta get some people to donate, including myself. So Diane, let's go to a commercial break and we'll be right back. What a I know.
Polyp on the premises.
Good 20, we're on it. Let's roll.
In there.
Yeah, we'll handle this, man.
What?
We're ready to be very civil about this.
You never know when a polyp is going to show up. Get the polyp early and stop colon cancer before it even starts. Just get a test from your doctor. Get the test, get the polyp,
Nice surgeon's touch.
get the cure.
And welcome back to the show with American Red Cross. Now, you know what, Diane, I didn't say anything earlier, but I had an incident before where I was hospitalized, and actually following my surgery, I lost too much blood during the surgery, and today I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for American Red Cross, because I had to have blood. So, you know, they did emergency to get my blood back up and everything, and I was hysterical because I'm thinking to myself, you just had surgery and I'm thinking I'm feeling fine, but actually I was probably like 1 or 2 doorsteps away from death because my blood was so low. You know, and that frightened me. So I do want to encourage the public to give blood, because I had to learn the hard way for myself to know that it's not just me that's going to need blood one day, it's someone else that needs blood as well.
You know, Marcia, what we say is you don't know when your friend, your family, or your neighbor is going to need it, and that's who you're really donating for.
Right. So I believe in, you know, donating blood, and that I'll be honest, it took that incident in itself for me to recognize the importance of donating blood, or even storing your own blood. You know, both is most definite.
We don't really store blood these days because
Okay.
we believe in the community responsibility for keeping the blood supply up. There are those occasions when someone chooses to donate blood for themselves, and you can donate blood prior to your own surgery, and that's called autologous donations.
Right.
But we don't store blood.
Okay.
So it expires every 42 days, and we
Right.
need to keep that blood supply on the shelf and ready.
But if a person wants to store their blood for their surgery purposes, they do it a day or two, is it a week or two or something?
We have to have about 4 weeks planning
Right.
time in order to do your own donation for autologous donation.
Okay. Because, you know, combination, I mean, I learned, like I said, I learned from my own surgery the importance of donating blood. And I learned what my blood type was, which all this time I never knew, but I have my Red Cross card, and at the bottom of it tells me my blood type, nosy people, is A. So I do know what my blood type is. I wish it was O. I would be more than happy, but I still can give with A.
Well, that just
Okay.
means you're falling into the other 55% of the
Okay.
population,
Okay.
which isn't uncommon.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to talk about some of these things on the table here
Great.
before we actually wrap up. Now, adult CPR and AED. AED. I'm sure that most people are not familiar with getting information in reference to CPR and AED. What is the AED?
Artificial external defibrillator.
Okay. So I might as well ask you, what is the CPR, so people know exactly too.
Now you're going to test me. You know, I'm so used to the acronym. It's cardiac pulmonary resuscitation.
Okay, because I was up on that part. Okay, so now more or less, I'm turning this around so we can get a good shot of this, because on the actual event of something happening, people don't realize that they're either performing CPR or AED. Is that what it is?
Well, you have to have the piece of equipment to perform the AED.
Okay.
There's 2 pieces to the CPR training that we do, and it's just the rescue breathing in the event that someone has stopped breathing for themselves, or it's where the heart stops, and that's where they actually then go into the heart massage piece along with the rescue breathing.
Okay. So here's a shot of someone doing the AED. Can we get a shot of that, Mary? See, that's the AED. So I don't know whose camera got this, but I can see the AED one. Okay, and then actual CPR, ladies and gentlemen, which I mean from a child on up. If somebody's choking on something, you need to perform CPR. So they can actually do is it Heimlich maneuver, which is the waist, when you grab someone around the waist and pump them real hard.
You're expelling the air
Okay.
up through the diaphragm in order to dislodge whatever's caught.
Now, when you're mouth to mouth, is that basically if like a swimmer or something?
It can be any reason someone stopped breathing. A lot of times it's they've had an electrical shock, and it somehow stops the whole system.
Okay. And so now this is a regular program, the first aid, CPR, and AED.
It's a course that we offer. It's about a 4-hour course that the community can sign up to take.
Okay.
There's a small fee for cost recovery of the pamphlets and the other materials that they would use.
I just flipped to a page with nice materials on it for a first aid kit.
That's a first aid kit.
Okay.
That's the larger size first aid kit that the community can have available.
So this is actual class.
It is a class, and we encourage everyone in the community to get trained. I personally just got recertified a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
You never know when you're going to need it.
You got that right, and let's not wait until something happens, okay? Now, I notice we have a nice little display here of some of your items. This one here, I think this is so cute. Okay, this is a key ring, but it's not just a key ring, ladies and gentlemen. It's a first aid kit for moms on the go, and it's not just moms, but I see that there's Band-Aids and alcohol swabs and what's this, like petroleum jelly?
It's just like a little
Okay, so for
cream.
burn or
Yep.
scratch. So all you famous joggers and everything, just in case, this will be perfect for you. Okay, or mom, you're in the store shopping and you know how kids are playing through the aisles, somehow they get a scratch. Okay, okay. But this kit here, a little bigger, has its own personal flashlight. That's really nice. And now what is all in here? Because this has got an enormous amount of things. This would be,
It's a whistle.
okay.
Actually, a lot of companies have been purchasing this for their employees to have in their desk.
Okay.
Just think about a couple months ago when we had the temporary blackout in our community.
Right.
If you had this flashlight in your drawer, you would have been able to light your way out of your building if your building somehow didn't have emergency lighting. A lot of people use it when they're hiking.
This is a nice little kit, and I noticed that on the back you have a little safety strap, so anyone can actually attach this to their waistline, you know, through a belt or.
Any belt.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
if you have your waist pouch that you put all your other belongings in, just put that line through that as well.
Okay. The whistle is important to me because, you know, if you're outside jogging, you need to be able to call someone for help. Okay, okay. And I love the bear, the Red Cross bear.
That was just a little token that we gave away one holiday season with for our blood donors as they came in to give the gift of life.
Everybody needs Teddy. And you know what? I thought this was strange, but if you are in a fire, ladies and gentlemen, not a fire, but if you just want to protect your CDs, isn't this cute? Everyone has something to protect their CDs in, okay? Okay. So that's nice. CD holder with the 1-800 number on there.
You know, we don't produce anything without giving someone the information on how to contact us.
I see. And this beautiful blanket, American Red Cross, together we can save a life. This is a beautiful red blanket. This is
Isn't
so
it,
nice.
though?
Yes, yes, yes. So these things are very nice to have, and we appreciate. Okay, okay. But we want the public to know that the American Red Cross is out there for more than just fire safety and blood.
Absolutely.
There's a whole host of services that you all provide, and definitely we want to help you get the word out.
Appreciate that, Marcia.
Okay, so we're going to give out that website again.
www.semredcross.org.
Okay, and the phone number?
Is 1-800-GIVE-LIFE, GIVELIFE.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, Diane, please come back and see us again.
I'd love to, Marcia.
And tell our dear friends, Marie Mangus and a few more others, that we asked about them and hope to see them again.
They'll be glad to talk to you.
Okay, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Red Cross is with us today, and we need you to be encouraged to either give blood or volunteer your time because, listen, they're not just here for blood and they're not just here for fires. They're here for any services that you may need and to educate you as well. So do contact them by website or by number or give us a call here at 248-988-0250, 248-988-0250, and we will forward your questions or concerns to them and any of our other past guests. Keep in mind, we do have a Magic Makeover show going on, which Red Cross donated some wonderful things to us for this event, and you may contact us or check out our website at justastalkshow.org. My name is Marsha Florence. I'm your host for Just Ask, and what do I always say? If you know someone with a disability, or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just Ask. I'm your host. Thank you.
Okay, so the final score today from the Berkeley's Is the Troy Cowboys 30 and the Royal Oak Chiefs 60. We'll see you next year.